What's up, Raptors fans? Welcome to the Warriors Report. We have some special guests. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with these guys, Ben and Riker from Raptors Digest. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to be grading the Raptors free agency and their draft picks as well. So let's get right into it, guys.
Yeah, let's go.
Appreciate you having us on. Topic of great debate here, but over the past couple summer league games, some of the opinions have swayed. I think everybody's in a little more optimistic, positive outlook for the Raptors' future. So, Prab, wherever you want to start.
All right, let's go with our first pick, Scottie Barnes.
Scottie Barnes, let's give it a grade.
Let's throw up. All right. You guys ready?
We are ready.
Three.
3, 2, 1. I'm giving this a
couple
A+.
Couple A pluses. Riker, only an A? Break that down for us right now.
Game two.
Game two?
Coming off of a 18-point, 10 rebound, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block game, and then has a terribly inefficient, drew a bunch of early fouls, didn't dominate at the end of the game, and they ultimately lost. Who was it again? That second team that they played? The Golden State Warriors. Then he obviously rebounded again. And all of this is in context is extremely impressive because his average in college was only 10 points per game. So the fact that he's coming out there and scoring is super impressive. But I still think we're going to see throughout the regular season some inconsistencies with him. It's going to take some time for him to become an NBA regular. So I don't want to go overboard. Just an A for me.
Just an A. Well, we came in with the A+. I'll give my little spiel. I think obviously there's the Jalen Suggs dilemma that people were talking about. People wanted Suggs. You know, the live reactions. Initially, it seemed like everyone was down on Scottie Barnes, but the things we've seen in Summer League, the promise, the length, the defense, that's already there. That's already at an elite NBA level. And as you brought up, Riker, the question marks around Scottie is, okay, will his scoring develop? Does he have a jump shot? Does he have these things? And these questions seem to be getting answered already in Summer League. Sure, they might not be super consistent just yet, but that's the case with any rookie. And Suggs wasn't that much of a three-point shooter himself. A little bit better percentages in college. Scottie Barnes is knocking them down in this Summer League session. He's getting a few middies, giving some Kawhi-esque shots in traffic. I'm sold on Scottie Barnes right now.
Me too, Ben. I agree. Here's the thing, though. The reason why we didn't draft Suggs, what were people saying after the first Summer League game? Malachi Flynn is all I'm going to say. Malachi Flynn, we have him. You add Suggs in there. Would have just taken touches away from Malachi. I think you give him the bench role, let him develop. And Scottie Barnes, here's the thing. You drafted Scottie Barnes. His floor is obviously what it is right now. It's a little bit lower than Jalen Suggs, but we didn't draft him because of what he is now. We're drafting him for what he could be in the future. So I love that pick. I know my initial reaction was much like a lot of guys, a lot of Raptors fans. You know, I was shocked, but I really do like the pick. I'm giving it an A+ as well.
Yeah, fit. That's the name of the game because we had a bunch of guards. We played 2 seasons where we were extremely undersized and we ran that small ball lineup, and now we're switching. We're going big. We're taking long athletic defenders. So Scottie Barnes way better fit than Jalen Suggs. We all agree on that. Prab, who's the next person we're looking at?
All right, let's go our second round pick, Dalano Banton.
We ready to rock, guys?
I am ready to rock. 3, 2, 1. B+.
Oh,
B+.
boys.
Oh, yeah.
What did you have, Ben? I didn't even see it.
Couple of B's. I had an A.
Oh.
An A for my guy, Dalano. Man, this guy's coming in with the handle. He's blowing past defenders. Sure, the jump shot's not there yet, but he is a true 6'9" point guard. The handle is clean. The passing ability is something that's really impressed me. And it seems like every time on defense, sure, he's not necessarily the physical strength that Scottie Barnes or an OG Anunoby has, but he's long, he's wiry. It seems like whenever the ball's within a 10-foot vicinity of him, you know, he's getting tips, he's getting deflections, he's getting steals, getting blocks, right? Dalano Banton, sure, second round, a little bit of a project and might have a little bit of work. He even said it in his entrance interview with the Toronto Raptors, but he's looking more ready to go than I ever thought he would in this year's Summer League. The Summer League guys got me hyped out here.
He's already impressed. They just signed him to a guaranteed $2.5 million contract. He'll play through the 905 mostly, but who knows? We might see him get called up. Prab, you were initially upset. I think you wanted to draft a center in the second round. What are you saying now?
I changed my opinion. The first two games he looked awful. Let's not kid ourselves. He was turning the ball over. It looked like one of those picks. You're just scratching your head at why would Masai Ujiri. His defense was great. Ben, his defense was great, but I was in love with Jericho Sims, especially I was already wanting the Raptors to draft Jericho Sims, but seeing that first summer league game, we saw Jericho Sims just do some crazy things. I was ready to give this draft pick an F, but I've switched around. I've come around to like Benjamin. Not Benjamin. Ben, I'm talking about Delano. I'm talking about Dalano Banton here, but I really like Delano. His defense was already there from the get-go, and like you said, you guys have touched upon it. His ball handling skills, his length is just very intriguing. Obviously, I was initially a little bit maybe overreactive because Ben, you mentioned this, but Delano can't shoot. Scottie Barnes, there's issues with his shooting, so I wasn't happy with what direction we were going in terms of having those long guys that couldn't shoot. But I've come around to like the pick. I think he has a really nice future with the Raptors.
The forms are clean, though. The forms are clean. Get him in that gym with a clean form. That's coming around. And
nobody has broken jumpers, and if we can develop Pascal Siakam from 17% to 33, which people still are frustrated
36.
about that he's not higher than
35.
30. Yeah, but the most recent season was 33. Then that's the easiest thing to bring along. If Lonzo Ball can be saved, anybody can be saved. Who are we looking at next?
Let's go David Johnson.
The final second round pick. We ready?
Locked in.
I am ready.
Locked it in?
3, 2, 1. Let's go. I'm giving this a B+.
Ooh.
Wow.
C from Riker. What's your take?
Whoa.
I'm going low because when we broke down our draft picks, my thought was David Johnson has the easiest route to make a roster spot because we don't have a lot of depth at the 2. So to be a 3-and-D guy, that's all we need, scoring off the bench. And who's been a better scorer than him? Banton, who we just talked about, right? Scottie Barnes, who we just talked. Neither of the guys we expect to have a shot. The one guy we wanted to be a shooter, he's having the toughest time getting a shot. So he's not doing his job as a 3-and-D guy. So I've demoted him down to a C.
Demoted him down to a C. Jeez.
All right. Here's the thing, Riker. Here's the thing, though. We're 3 or 4 summer league games in. I don't think we're ready to say he can't shoot. He's obviously struggled a little bit, and it's easy to have a few good games and bad games. We've seen that with Dalano Banton. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I knew who David Johnson was when we drafted him. I did not. I was hoping for some more sexy names, if you want to put it, but he's nice. I've seen his highlights. Based off of what I've seen, he looks it reminds me a little bit of Norman Powell. He doesn't dunk as much. He goes for those layups, but he does attack the basket. As you mentioned, he's supposed to play defense. He'll get better at that. He'll shoot the 3-point shot as well. So I like it. It's a low risk, high reward type of pick. So I like it. I'm giving that one a B+.
Yeah, I like the Norman Powell comparison. Obviously, Summer League hasn't jumped off the box scores or anything like that, but has had stretches where he really impressed. So any guy that can come in, 3-point shoot, defend, right? And we're not really sure what's going to happen with Goran Dragic going forward, right? There's rumors he might get traded now in October, so there might be still a clear route for him. And obviously, Riker brought up Banton's just shown out with his opportunity, but we still project him to spend more time in the G League. And I know Champagnie and all these guys are there, but David Johnson, I think he's going to surprise some people this season.
I agree. With that being said, let's move on to our fourth player we got in the NBA draft.
Who else do we get in the NBA draft?
Champagnie, our undrafted guy.
Undrafted.
Two-way. Undrafted. Sorry, not drafted. Undrafted. But we got him in the NBA draft. After the NBA draft.
Alrighty.
All right. You guys ready?
Are you ready?
3, 2, 1. I'm giving this a B.
Are we all on accord?
I got a B-.
I don't see a thing there.
I have a little
B-.
B-. It's
Champagnie's nice. Champagnie's nice. He expected to get drafted. Here's the thing. He expected. He slipped out. He was disappointed there. He immediately gets picked up by the Toronto Raptors. Ben spoke about opportunity for David Johnson. Seems like Champagnie is really looking to make the most of his opportunity. So I like the way that he's been trying out there. I don't see him having a roster spot, but he's a guy. He's competitive. Maybe he'll develop up.
Yeah, as a two-way guy, it's a guy that's currently played power forward in college and gets a lot of rebounds. He's a hustler. He does all those things that you love to see of a Toronto Raptor, but he looks like more of a project than a lot of the guys we've had on this team. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a throwback, a DeAndre Daniels pickup that obviously we picked him up in the second round a few years ago, but similar style of play. The jump shot hasn't jumped off the page watching these summer league games, and the defense, the hustle's all there, but it's another one of those projects. And maybe as an undrafted free agent, we could have went a different route, but there's a lot of people. The Raptors are going in this new direction. Long arms, hustle, coming in, those positionless players. So maybe Champagnie can fit his name in. And obviously, the nicknames will run rampant with this guy. So that'll be a positive going forward.
Yeah, Ben, I agree. Absolutely. Look, it's a two-way contract. It's not a big deal. We can cut him at any time. It's not a guaranteed contract. So the Raptors have had a history of signing nice guys on the two-way contracts, right? Yeah. So it's, for me, I like him. Like you mentioned, just pretty much touching on some of the things you said. He's a great rebounder. He's amazing at hustling, and I really like him. You can't go wrong with a two-way contract. So I like the pick.
Yeah, 10 rebounds per game as a 6'6" power forward with a 7'1" wingspan in college. Pretty crazy stat line. I don't think that's going to transition very well to the NBA because it's tough to be 6'6" power forward. But hey, see what happens. Brad, next one.
All right, let's go on to free agency. So Gary Trent Jr., his contract. How did you guys like his contract?
Ready?
Yeah.
3,
2, 1.
Oh, wow. I came up early.
I'm giving that B+.
Whoa.
B+.
You said like. I'm thinking love. I love that signing. We paid him OG money. The one thing which I'll concede if you're going B because last year is a player option, then everybody would probably agree with that. You want to lock in young guys, long-term money when it's cheap because when it's up for renewal, if he's been playing well, he's not accepting. He's going to look for more. So good signing for the short term, but obviously would have been nice to have team option rather than player option.
Yeah. I would have not money-wise, 100% agree with you. Knocking it down because it's only 2 guaranteed years on this contract to an A-, and then I'm knocking it down to a B+ because we kind of got rid of him because we expected Norman Powell to get the 23-24, a big contract from a specific team. And obviously the Raptors, even though they're young and developing, they're still trying to win now a little bit. Norman Powell's a part of the core, a part of the culture, and Norman Powell got signed to a 5-year, $19 million per year contract, which I think is more attractive between the two players' contracts. And Norman Powell's currently the better player. He's more entering his prime and obviously won a championship with us. So obviously I'm big on Trent. He showed some things out last season, but I think Norman Powell's the better player right now. You're taking a little bit of a risk moving on from picking up Trent instead of Norm. Obviously we think Trent can be very good, but there's betting on potential rather than a 45% three-point shooter that you had on your roster. But that's why I'm knocking it down, just for the Norman Powell little storyline.
So Ben, let me get this straight. Before I jump into this, did you say you'd rather have Norman Powell's contract on the Raptors than Trent Jr.?
I'd rather Trent on that contract or, Norman Powell, that 5-year 19, because they're locked in at a reasonable tradable contract, which is essential.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. And you know what? I'm giving this a B+ as well. The only reason I'm not, like some of the things you guys touched on, I would have liked to have that extra year or two. It would have been nice. He is young and he's going to get a lot better. Yep. And for people saying he may be a little bit overpaid, you do have to realize if we lose him, who are we getting in that shooting guard position? We're already lacking
David
a little
Johnson.
bit of depth. David, like we don't have many options. Who are we signing? Evan Fournier? Who are we signing? Who got paid $18 million as well? So I do like the signing. It would have been nice to have an extra few deals, extra few years. But as you guys have touched upon, if you do decide to trade him, if you do decide down the road, you know what, there's a player you want to look at, you can throw him in. He'll be a really nice, very tradable asset. Not suggesting we do, but if down the road Masai Ujiri decides he wants to do that, I think that's a really easy contract to trade.
Yeah, he's a culture guy. He's a higher ceiling. He's a better fit with the timeline, the age. I love. I'm higher than Trent than Norm, but I
you were the one hating on the trade, Riker.
Because we didn't get a pick. Because we didn't get a pick. Dude, Norm was worth more than a straight swap. We wanted one pick for that, but no way. I was frustrated. But anyways, this probably brings us to another trade that we did. Sign and trade, Prab. Break it down for us.
Kyle Lowry to Miami Heat. Obviously, we know what we got back. Precious Achiuwa and Gordon I'm gonna skip saying his last name because I know you guys. Dragon. I'm just gonna call him Dragon. I got a few comments in my video saying I'm mispronouncing his last name as well. So,
all right, who we going with first?
What you guys?
Do them both.
Do them both.
Just do them as one full thing.
The entire trade. Trade.
Okay. We ready?
Ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm giving this a B+.
I got A++++, folks. Gordon Dragic, Dragon, whoever. I know there's slander on this guy for coming in saying it's not his desired destination, but we might be flipping him in the future. And even if we don't, I think he's a solid fit. We need that backup too that can score and fit alongside our multitude of 6'9" wings that are still a little bit raw offensively. But I have been fed into the Precious Achiuwa propaganda. I've been watching the highlights. I've been seeing what people are talking about, the player comparisons, and I'm hearing stuff of the Giannis comparisons, the Bam comparisons, watching Summer League, and I saw a tweet about this as well. Serge Ibaka comparison could be a really solid one to look at. Watching him play, sure, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be developed, but the jumper, the form looks nice. He's a hustle guy. He plays huge despite his 6'8" frame. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, Birch, I think, being the guy that was here last year, is a bit more of a veteran, will more likely be on the squad going for, or starting off next season. But Precious, I think he's going to be our future starting center going forward.
I'll let you go with it, Brad, because you were a little more critical of this one than me.
I am. So the reason I'm giving this a B+, and much like how, Riker, you just touched upon not getting a pick for Norman Powell, I feel the same way. After Miami, he picked up Goran Dragic, his player option. The Miami Heat had about $18 to $20 million to spend, and the Raptors could have leveraged a future second round, maybe if you're getting greedy, a future first round pick. I know Precious is very nice. I like him. Don't get me wrong. He's probably going to be our future center the way he's playing, and he's going to be really nice moving forward. And you can flip Dragic at the NBA trade deadline as well to get more assets. But personally, I would have loved to get that second round pick. At least one future first round or second round pick would have been nice. It's just a throw-in. I don't think the Miami Heat would have mind throwing that in. I'm just getting a little greedy here. That's the only thing stopping me from giving this an A, but I really do like the trade for the same reasons, Ben, you touched upon as well. So
I like this one purely because at the trade deadline last year, there was supposedly 16 people in a bidding war for Norman Powell, and all we did was a straight 1-for-1 with Gary Trent Jr. So immediately we were like, well, what's the trade value for an old Kyle Lowry who now wants $30 million a year? You take what you can get, because otherwise he's just going to leave, sign somewhere, no value in the return. Same way with Kawhi Leonard and Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, and everybody that did great with the Toronto Raptors and then left and we got nothing back. So I'm glad that we actually got some remuneration, and part of that is Precious Achiuwa, who looks super promising. So probably an A for me.
Precious, my Precious. He's our starting center. He's leading us to a chip. Serge Ibaka. Who's the next guy we're breaking down?
All right, Khem Birch's contract. So Khem Birch, how do you like that contract?
We ready?
Are we ready?
All
3,
right.
2, 1. Let's throw it up. I'm giving that an A+.
Oh,
okay.
Ben, why couldn't see yours?
Break it down. The A+. We need to hear this.
Here's the thing. Much like Gary Trent Jr., which center are you signing out there that fits with the Raptors? There weren't very many centers out there. We know we were targeting Jared Allen. There's talks about Rashawn Holmes as well. Those two guys were obviously gone within the first few days of free agency. So if Birch is gone, I know he's not the greatest player you want as a starting center, but in terms of fit, when you take a look at what he did last season, he came in, he turned the Raptors defense around. His defense, his fit with the Raptors, and also just being that unselfish player that doesn't demand the ball. And he's shown the potential to shoot that three-point ball as well. He got 3 years, $18 million. That's a very reasonable contract. And much like Gary Trent Jr., not saying you should trade him, but if you want to next year, if you find someone better for a starting center position, you can easily flip him in a trade. So I really like the deal. I like the fit. I don't think outside of Birch and maybe a couple more centers, I don't think there's really anyone out there that fits the Raptors better. So I like the deal.
Yeah. Well, when you look at what Kelly Olynyk got paid and Rashawn Holmes and even Doug McDermott and Zach Collins, That
Yeah.
is the most horrendous signing of the offseason. Then to sign a guy like
Spurs are
Khem
tanking.
Birch, you've convinced me, Brad, that I'd probably upgrade it to an A as well. Just on that we signed him to a reasonable deal because the market for centers was just stupid this offseason.
He's mobile, he's athletic, he blocks shots, he's everything you want out of a backup center. And we got our starter in Precious. So Khem Birch will likely be playing that backup spot, especially as we go forward and into this contract, even if it's not right away. So I love the pickup. I think it's a perfect signing. $7-8 million per year for a guy that wants to be on this team, that'll be a hustler, fills a positional spot. Obviously, there might be questions if we trade Dragic for Moody or not Moses Brown. Right then, it might get a little bit weird, but perfect signing for the Toronto Raptors, the Khem Birch.
I agree. I think we can all agree on that. It's a great signing. All right, guys, should we move on to our next signing? The biggest free agent we signed this offseason, Sam Dekker.
All right, we got it.
All right, I got it.
3.
Yep.
2. 1.
I'm giving that an F minus. I know that's not a thing, but if there's a thing, I'm giving that an F minus. That's
You guys can't see my grade.
A plus?
A plus plus plus. And then in the brackets, there's a B. And I'm giving it.
Ben.
I gotta preface this. You just gotta go to Sam Dekker's Instagram, creep his wife, and then you'll see why the initial grade is there. My basketball grade is a B. He's a shooter. I think he shot 40, a ridiculous mid-40s from 3 as well. We need guys that can shoot, space the floor. But the more important grade is the A+++, and just, creep his wife on Instagram. I won't go further with it.
Ben, I was about to question your grade more than mine. A plus for Sam Dekker, but I'm going to have to hop onto Instagram and check that out. But hey, Riker, I'm going to jump right in. F minus, I don't like it at all. We've all seen that meme, and I know you shouldn't judge NBA players based off of one play. Well, you all seen that meme with the Rockets several years ago where he's dribbling, loses the ball, falls on the ground, hits the ball on his face. There's also been obviously a lot of controversy as well. You guys have touched upon it a little bit. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but I just feel like there would have been nicer players out there besides Sam Dekker. Again, Ben, you touched upon it. He shot, I think, 45% from the three. Yeah. So that's intriguing. Obviously, he's another 6'9" guy we signed. He's also, I think, a camp invite. So he's not a guaranteed contract, so they can cut him at any time. But personally, I don't like it at all. Riker?
It's a curious signing. It's very curious. Of all of the international players that you could poach and bring back to the NBA, Sam Dekker is what they drum up. And yeah, he shot ridiculous efficiency from deep in Turkey, right? Was it Turkish league? It was kind of weird, like B or C Euro league. So it's not like he's playing in the best of best competitions overseas. So we'll see how it pans out. My reservation is, well, what if he shoots high 30% in the NBA and we can excuse his lack of defense? Or what if he just sucks again, like he did when he played his first 3 or 4 seasons in the NBA? Then it'll taper off to the F, like Prab said. So it could go either way. It's not like it's a crazy deal that we've to. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Let him prove us wrong or prove us right based on however you side on this siding.
Yeah. No, Raptors are winners with just creep the IG, guys. You'll be swayed.
All right, Ben, I'm gonna take your word. I'm gonna take your word and go on IG. I believe this is our last free agent signing. It was Ishmail Wainright. I believe. I could be wrong on this, but I think.
Don't be sleeping on my guy, Ezek Banga.
Oh my goodness. Ezek. All right, let's go Wainright first.
Okay. We ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
2, 1. I'm giving a P.
A P for PJ Tucker. That's he could be PJ Tucker. He could suck. I know he was like 1 for 8 from 3 last game, but this guy, he's got a tight end build. He got signed very briefly for a stint with the Buffalo Bills. So he's an athletic, super thick guy that could be a 3-and-D player similar to PJ Tucker.
Yeah. Thick with 2 C's. I gave it a B++ because it should be an A. I want to say it's an A, but it's just not there yet for all the things you mentioned. Right? Skill set wise, fit wise, his build, all these things, it's an A. right? It's an A minus or at that level, but the consistency, it has to be there. We've seen flashes of him being the ideal free agency pickup for this team, on a multi-year contract at a cheap money, right? So that's why I'm really high on the guy, but as you said, we need him to be consistent, specifically hitting those corner threes. And if he can do that, obviously play the defense, which I think everyone expects he's able to do, then it's an A, but the consistency has to be there to get over the B++.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I agree with the PJ Tucker comparisons as well. And we saw what PJ Tucker did in this year's playoff. I'm not saying he's going to do the same thing as PJ Tucker for us in the playoffs, but he comes in as a defender he's listed at 6'5", 6'6". He can come in, defend smaller shooting guards. He can also defend, I'm sure at times, power forwards as well, given how the league is trending into smaller and smaller players. I know the Raptors have drafted 6'8", 6'9" guys, but I think he could really come and be that guy. He's going to be kind of in a Stanley Johnson role. I feel like he's going to come in, certain matchups he'll come in. He's not going to be getting a lot of minutes, but as you guys have mentioned, his three-point shot needs to get more consistent. His game overall needs to be more consistent, but he's built like a tank. So that's the thing. He can guard multiple positions. He's very tough. So he brings a little bit of toughness to the Raptors. So I like it. It's not a bad signing. I'm giving it a B.
Nice. I guess we continue.
Yeah, we're on the last guy here. Another 6'8", 6'9",
7 foot
small
wingspan.
forward, 7 foot wingspan. Can't really shoot the three. Limited NBA experience. Ezekiel Nnaji. How are we feeling?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. I'm giving this a C+. My C looks like a little kindergartner just wrote that. I was trying to write it, but it wasn't working. The ink wasn't working, but I'm giving this a C+. Ben, I couldn't see yours. What did you give him?
C++. Get the
C++.
programming languages out here.
And Riker's yours was a B?
D.
Yeah. All right,
Yep.
Riker, we'll let you go first. You gave him the D.
Not a lot to sink your teeth into with this one. He's played very limited time and games in the NBA over 3 seasons. I don't know if he's supposed to be a point guard or a small forward or a shooting guard. It seems kind of unclear what his role is going to be moving forward with the Toronto Raptors, but he can't shoot the three, right? He shot 27%. He's definitely a project, and why waste your time with guys that, they've had 3 years to develop? Go down, pick up undrafted players, work on that 905. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. This one to me seems a little bit out of left field.
Yeah, well, there is one definite reason to do this, Riker, and it's to improve the Toronto Raptors in NBA 2K, bringing in Precious Achiuwa and now Isaac Bonga onto the roster. This team will be ferocious, will be nasty. Those 6'9" point guards, they kill it in 2K, but that's why I gave it the C++ rather than a C+, because that would be my regular grade, as he's a guy that plays defense, does all the things we want, and if you throw enough stuff at a wall, something's gonna stick. And obviously, if you get you hit on 1, 2 wings that are super long, super athletic, that can eventually develop on the offensive end of the floor, then things are gonna work out. So it's, maybe Champagnie doesn't work out, maybe Wainright doesn't work out, maybe David Johnson, and then you took a risk on Bonga, and he's the one that pays off. I don't mind the risk, but again, he's probably has the lowest potential floor out of a lot of the signings we've had this year.
Yeah, I agree. I give this a C+ as well. I wasn't really high on it when I took a look at his statistics. He averaged 2 points a game last season with the Washington Wizards. So my only issue with this signing is he's nice. He's one of those guys. He's 6'8", 6'9". He's only 21 years old, so that's great. He's got potential, but his contract isn't guaranteed. So he could potentially just be one of those guys to push the other guys, like our best free agent signing, Sam Dekker, for the last roster spot. But no, all jokes aside, he could be one of those guys just to kind of push other guys in the training camp. I think he'll be one of those guys. I don't know where he fits in with our timeline. He's obviously young, but I particularly didn't like the signing. At some point, you need to sign, obviously, guys that can score. We can't have all defenders. So I wasn't really high on the signing. It's a low risk, low reward kind of signing. So again, I'm not giving this a very high grade. I stick with my C+ I'm giving him. So
yeah, no, that's definitely fair. And if we want to give a final grade, because that's our final player, how do you guys grade this Toronto Raptors offseason? Just overall. Let's throw it up. We ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. I'm giving this a B-.
Okay. I got the A-.
I'm going B, but with a splash of optimism. I'm saying B because we didn't fix this team. We didn't make this championship team, but to have those expectations would be a little bit crazy anyways. What we did is tighten up the roster and also pivot the Raptors into the new generation of having longer, more versatile wing defenders, right? That's never typically been the case for the Raptors. So I like this new direction, and I like that we still kept the core unit intact. So I'm happy with the offseason.
Yeah. Prab, if you want to break it down.
Okay, sure. I'll go next. So the reason I'm giving it a B minus, I really like the Raptors offseason. The only issue I have is, and I'm sure you guys have touched upon this as well, but not having a 7-foot center. I'm okay with having 6'8", 6'9" guys. This is a very interesting direction the Raptors are going into. Obviously, we know Masai Ujiri is very good at this. He plans things before everyone even notices. So maybe he's on to something. I know the league is trending towards smaller centers, but personally, you still need those 7-foot guys for certain matchups. If, let's say, you face the 76ers in the playoffs, who are you throwing at him? Precious Achiuwa is what, 220 pounds? Correct me if I'm mistaken. And Joel Embiid is what, 270, 280 pounds, 7 feet. So are we going to continue to double and triple team Joel Embiid? I know we did that when Marc Gasol was here as well, but personally, I would have liked a 7-foot center for certain matchups. That's the only reason I'm not giving it. And I would have liked them to go for a little bit more nicer, pieces we could have potentially gotten. But that's the only reason I'm giving a B minus. I think the future is bright though with the Raptors. I think they made some low key, very nice moves in the draft, obviously getting Precious Achiuwa. So I really like those moves.
You guys give him B for bright, but I'm thinking you guys need to take a dose of that Precious propaganda, because picking him up, I think he solves our issues at center. Obviously, you have Khem Birch now to be the backup big, right? I'm giving it an A minus rather than an A, because I think the Raptors did all they could. I think they hit a home run with the Scottie Barnes pick. I think our second round picks, David Johnson, as we brought up, is a question mark a little bit, but Dalano Banton, I thought that was a big hit in the second round, and then we'll see what happens with Champagnie, right? So you're finding those diamonds in the rough out there in the draft, and then free agency, sure, right? We didn't hit any home runs. We didn't bring Kawhi home. We didn't acquire Jared Allen, who we really didn't have a shot at. We found out later anyways, and fair enough, right? That's some of the stuff we speculated going into the offseason, but I feel like we played it perfectly with what we could have. Now, looking back at everything that sort of played out, we're set up perfectly for the future, and we actually have a direction with this team, and we have a well-rounded roster. So there's not much more you can ask for, and I guess we didn't talk about, we exclusively kept it to players, but the biggest free agent signing this offseason was clearly Masai Ujiri. He's locked in long-term, our chairman, our king, our everything on this Toronto Raptors team, so it's a quality offseason in my eyes.
Fair point, Ben. I can't believe I forgot this. Yes, of course, the biggest free agent, Masai Ujiri. So it is. I may have to change that to a B plus, but yeah, that's so re-signing Masai Ujiri was huge. We obviously needed him moving forward. Not that I don't trust Bobby Webster. It's just nice having Masai Ujiri here, knowing that some of the moves he's made to get us to a championship team. So
yeah,
that's exactly it. Do you have a way you sign it off, Rob? We could.
I don't. I guess we'll just ask if anyone has any last words to say before we go off. Sign off.
Subscribe to the Warch Report.
Do it. Get this man as many subscribers and likes as possible. It helps the algorithm. We always forget to ask at the beginning of videos, but it does. So if you've made it this far along, make sure you definitely. And thank you, Rob, for bringing us onto this podcast. Don't know if this one's going on your account or our account, but we'll do two, and you'll see one on both channels. So thank you, sir.
No, thank you guys for doing this. It was a lot of fun doing this. And you know what? I'm going to say this, guys. It's impossible that you're a Raptors fan and you don't know who Raptors Digest is. But if you guys aren't subscribed, I'll leave their description in the comments below. Make sure to head on to their channel. Subscribe. Obviously, subscribe the button. Hit the subscribe button. And that will be it for this video, guys. Once again, guys, thank you so much for doing this. It's a pleasure. And we'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.